What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Kid Taj, and today we're going to be talking about MVP candidates. Before we get into this, I just want to say, y'all should leave a like if you enjoyed this video. It helps me grind, helps me grow on YouTube. Subscribe if you're new, and comment an idea down below what you want to see from me, what type of video you want to see. So let's get right into this. I got 8 players that are probably the main MVP candidates this season, and I'm going to determine which of those 8 players are legitimate candidates, which ones have no chance, which ones have some chance, and all of that. So the first one, this guy doesn't have any chance, and it's New Orleans Pelicans power forward Anthony Davis. Now, if y'all have been paying attention to the NBA, Anthony Davis has been absolutely going nuts. I mean, this guy had 95 points in his first 2 games. He's putting up something like, I believe it's almost 40 points per game over 3 games. Now, this might seem crazy, in a stretch, but over the course of the season, this average is going to go down a little bit. I think I still have him averaging over 30 points a game by the end of the season, just because he has no help right now. He's their only guy right now. He's going to get all the points for that team. So he's their guy, Anthony Davis is. But the reason why he can't win MVP is because there's almost no chance the Pelicans are even going to make the playoffs. I mean, they've already started out without a win through the first week of the season, and he has to put up 50 and 45. I mean, he honestly just had 50 points, 16 rebounds, 7 steals. I think it was 5 blocks and 4 assists against the Nuggets at home, and they still lost. I mean, that's just a sign right there. If you're losing to the Nuggets, it's not like they were playing the Spurs or the Cavs, the Warriors, which they did actually play the Warriors, and they lost again when he had 45. But he had to put up 50, 16, 7, 5, and 4 to keep him in that game, and they still couldn't even beat the Nuggets. That tells you right there. They're not making the playoffs. They have absolutely no talent around Anthony Davis, and his averages will go down once Evans and Holiday return to the lineup, but they still won't be good enough. At that point, they're going to be deep in the lottery. They might as well just tank it, right? Because even when Evans and Holiday come back, it's not like that makes them a playoff team. They weren't last season, and honestly, they're going to be so far down in the standings that there's going to be almost no chance they can get back in there. Plus, you got to be top 2, 3 in your conference to win the MVP at least. Next, we're going to go to the guys that probably won't win the MVP. We'll start with James Harden. James Harden comes into the season without Dwight Howard on his team and with the surroundings of a bunch of great shooters. He's got the perfect setup for himself. He gets to just run the offense, drive and dish and score points. He's going to put up probably something like 28 points, 9 assists, maybe more assists, because this guy really could be in the mix for assist leaders by the end of the season. James Harden is honestly one of the best passers in the NBA, and he's going to have so many touches, so many opportunities to get an assist this season. He has the perfect setup. However, this team has not showed the ability to be great. James Harden is not a good defensive player. Eric Gordon is not a good defensive player. Ryan Anderson is not a good defensive player. You got Ariza, who can defend well, and Capella, who can defend at the rim pretty well. But other than that, you're not filled out when it comes to defense. James Harden is a great player on the offensive end. He's a great playmaker, but this team is going to lack defense. They're not going to win as many games as a James Harden-led team should. I mean, honestly, they lost to the Lakers in their first game. They beat the Mavericks, but this team is not going to get a lot of wins against the best teams in the league, and it's just because they don't have enough players to go to. They only have one go-to guy, and that's James Harden, and you go up against a team like the Spurs, you put Kawhi on Harden, and that's all you got, right? You're not going to play through Eric Gordon or Ryan Anderson. You're going to play through Harden, and they don't have another guy to do that with. That's why this team can't be a top 2, 3 seed, and you got to get there if you want to be in the mix, because no one has won MVP without being in the top 2 in forever, like decades, I think. And it was Michael Jordan that was the only guy that did that. Nobody in this league is Michael Jordan, and Jordan, he had to put up some amazing numbers, and they were probably still in the mix for a top 4 seed. That team he won on, they were probably a 3 seed. The other guy that's probably not going to win it is Russell Westbrook, and this is for the same reasons. Russell Westbrook is another guy without enough help, although he might put up just the most amazing numbers you've ever seen from a point guard in NBA history this year. Russell Westbrook does not have enough help to win. He barely got wins with his team over the Sixers and the Suns. They are 3-0. I know they beat someone else as well. I'm blanking on who that was. Oh, the Lakers. They beat those 3 teams, but they struggled with 2 of those teams. They had to go to overtime with the Suns, and they only won against the Sixers by a couple points. Westbrook has been doing his thing, 2 consecutive triple-doubles. He's going to lead the league in scoring, I think. But the problem is his team is not going to do top 2, and they're not going to be close to that, I don't think. If you have Russell Westbrook gets injured, then that's just, there go your chances at doing that. I don't think they have high chances of doing that at all. The Warriors or the Spurs have got to have that locked up, and if the Warriors really struggle that much, the Clippers have it, because they're a very solid team in the regular season, we already know. So I don't think that Russell Westbrook has a shot. Despite the amazing stats he may put up, it doesn't look like he's going to get enough wins to get him to that spot. Now we're going to get into guys that have a chance at this award, and we're going to start with Paul George. Paul George so far this season has had a little bit of a rocky start. The Pacers took losses to both the Brooklyn Nets and the Chicago Bulls, leaving them at 1-2 right now, and they have to figure out an identity, and they got to do it fast. We know Paul George and Miles Turner are the biggest talents on this team, but Jeff Teague putting up 0 points in the last game is not going to qualify for point guard help on this team. You didn't want to trade George Hill for a scoring and slashing and dishing point guard in Jeff Teague if he's not going to do those things, because he really didn't do that, and he hasn't shown, frankly, that he's going to do that. Paul George, he's got to be 30 points a game or something, 25 to 30, I would say. I want to see him put up at least 25 a game if he wants to get this award. He says he's gunning for it. He's got to come, and he's got to get the numbers. This guy is capable. He's got the shot down. He's got the handles. He's a one-on-one shot creator at its finest. However, if this team can't help him win games, he won't do it. He's like the other guys, except this team is better than the Rockets and the Pelicans and probably the Thunder. I mean, he has more help than James Harden and Russell Westbrook do. However, Paul George has got to put on a show himself. He's got to do it himself. That's why he has a chance. If he has a huge season, the Pacers come up and surprise some people, get into those top 2 seeds, it's definitely a possibility. They could get top 4 for sure, and that's something that you need if you want to be that MVP. Another guy who might get this, another guy who's being slept on, who was slept on, but this is the top 10 team in the league. Damian Lillard of the Portland Trail Blazers. He's been absolutely incredible in the first week. Now, I know it's just week 1. He's putting up insane numbers, like 35 a game on 55 from the field. He's shooting like 74% in the restricted area, something crazy like that. I saw a stat about that. He's been going absolutely nuts, and it doesn't make any sense whatsoever because they played the Jazz, one of the best defensive teams in the league, and he dropped 39, and he was getting shots over Rudy Gobert. So that's proven to you. It's not like Damian Lillard is playing against some slouches. It's not like they're playing against some bad teams with no defense in the rim. They're playing against good teams, and they got some wins, 2-1 so far to show for it. Damian Lillard just going to keep doing his thing. He wants this award, and Damian Lillard is a guy that we know can really back up what he's saying. He's a clutch performer. He's got it all offensively, and he can get this team to 50-55 wins. He really has a shot. They might not get a 2 seed or a 3 seed. They might actually do have a shot at the 3 seed, but he's definitely in that conversation because you don't want to ever underestimate Damian Lillard. This guy has it. He knows what he's doing out on the floor. He's a great player. Now let's get on to the guys that are MVP candidates. Let's start with Kevin Durant. We all like to hate Kevin Durant, me included. I don't exactly love his decision, and we all don't, most of us at least. But I'm going to get over that for now because Kevin Durant has a legitimate shot. On this Warriors team, you'd think that he wouldn't be getting the same amount of shots, maybe touches, maybe points, but this guy has absolutely been on fire in his first couple games. The Warriors 2-1 so far, and in that one loss, I think he had 27. Last game, he had 37 on the Suns. He's been a top 10 scorer so far, and that's what he does best. This Warriors team, if they get their shit together, they will be a top 2 team in the Western Conference. Lock it in if this team can get their chemistry right. And that's exactly what they plan on doing, and KD is going to be their leading scorer, I'm predicting. That's why Steph Curry isn't on this list, because you've seen KD has obviously been the number 1 guy on the offensive end so far. They've been going to him more and more, and he's been delivering so far. Another guy who is definitely in the conversation is LeBron James. LeBron, I had him initially as my pick for MVP, and I think that he's going to finish top 2 in the MVP, I think he's going to be the runner-up to MVP this year, or the MVP. I'll talk about the next guy later. Y'all should probably have a good idea who it is. But we know LeBron is probably going to propel the Cavs to first seed in the East. He looks really great so far this year. He's going to be a triple-double threatening type player, maybe not on a nightly basis, definitely not on a nightly basis actually, but LeBron James definitely has it in him to get his team to win 60 games and to put up some incredible stats, and sometimes that's all you need. LeBron, it's been a while since he's taken that MVP, and this could really be the year for him. And the last guy is San Antonio Spurs small forward Kawhi Leonard. I'm so excited about this guy. He's one of my favorite players in the league, and I've watched his ascension, and he's just a guy that you never expected would be this good, honestly, from winning finals MVP in a season where he only put up like 13 points a game. He's out here getting 30 nights on nights on nights. He had 27 last night in a win over the Heat. I think he's put up 35, 30, and maybe like a 21-point game and then a 27-point game. Kawhi is getting his scoring together. He's already a very good rebounder, and we know about the defense. This team is going to win a lot of games as well. That's why he is there in that conversation. He has the reins to this offense. This is his team. He's controlling everything that goes on in the court. He's been giving, he has the ISO capability, and he's given the authority to run ISO plays. He's the only guy on this team that you want to see really go one-on-one against the guy, and he's a very efficient scorer. He's got everything you need from a superstar player, two-way player, and I think that he has a legitimate shot. I think it's going to be him and LeBron 1 and 2, or LeBron and him 1 and 2. I think those are going to be the top two guys at the end of the season. That's going to wrap up this video. I hope you all enjoyed my MVP, who's real, who's not video for this year. We got 8 guys to talk about, yeah, we have some legit firepower in the league, guys that are going to do it all by themselves maybe, and guys that are just going to lead a great team to a great record and win it. So that's all for today. Please leave a like if you enjoyed, comment an idea down below for me, and subscribe if you're new. I'm out. Thanks for watching, y'all. Peace.